Hi, my name is Jamie Zahradnik, and I teach all levels of ballet here at Dance to Coeur in Sugar Land, Texas. And today I'm going to demonstrate for you a Grand Battement. A Grand Battement is a French word that means large beating movement. And it is an action used in ballet where you would lift the leg from the hip and then lower it gently back down to the floor. So first I'm going to demonstrate it for you, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. So this is a Grand Battement from fifth position en avant, meaning to the front. Now let's first talk about the muscle groups that are important when trying to perform a Grand Battement. The first muscle group I want to talk about is the iliopsoas muscle group. Basically, this is a muscle group that connects the upper body to the lower body. So it connects from T12 right here at our thoracic spine in the back, goes underneath our rectus abdominis, our transverse abdominis, all these layers of abdominal muscles that we have pulling our stomach in together and holding our organs in. Way deep down underneath all those organs is the psoas major and the psoas minor. Now the psoas minor connects right down to here, and the psoas major comes from the lower rib all the way down to connect down into the femur right here. So it actually connects the leg to the spine. And so that is the muscle that we want to use primarily for femoral flexion, which means it's the muscle that we want to use to lift the leg. Then the second muscle group that I want to talk about is the hamstring muscle group. So the hamstring muscle group would connect to the sits bone right here at the base of the pelvis, so right up underneath all this flesh here, and then all the way down to the back of the knee. And when this muscle contracts, it lowers the leg down to the floor. So the hamstrings have to release, and the psoas contracts to lift the leg, and then the psoas releases, and the hamstrings contract to lower the leg gently back down to the floor. So in a very real way, the two muscle groups are working together as one to make the action happen. There are two common mistakes that students tend to make when performing a Grand Battement. The first mistake is to think about crunching the upper body over or bending the knee in order to get a higher leg. So I'll demonstrate that now for you and show you how to do it the wrong way. So this would be crunching the upper body over. You can see that I'm bending at my waist, trying to get a higher leg, or you can also see that I would bend my knee to get a higher leg, essentially tucking my pelvis under, and I get a higher leg, but it's really practicing incorrect form. So what I might say to a student to address this issue is to think about imagery. Really think about your standing leg and then your working leg. So this being my standing leg, the leg that I'm standing on, to do the Grand Battement, is really thinking about sending roots down into the earth, like a tree. And then I'm thinking about those roots coming all the way up and out through the top of my head. In this way, I'm thinking about sending energy down as well as up. So when I do my Grand Battement, I'm nice and tall and lifted. Another common mistake that a student might make in doing a Grand Battement is to lower the leg to the floor like this. Let me show you what I mean. So a lot of times a student might think, well, it's up, I got it up there, it's a high kick, and then it falls right down to the floor. It's really important to remember that the descent of the leg is just as important as the lift. So doing it this way, lowering the leg nice and low to the floor, sometimes exaggerating that in class and practicing taking it up and lowering it nice and slow, almost to an extreme level, is a really, really good exercise for the student. Another image that I might use to talk about this is to think about a rocket blasting off and then a nice, soft, gentle parachute landing. Now allow me to demonstrate one more time the proper way to do a Grand Battement. We lift and lower. Now, it's really important to remember that the height of the leg is not the most important part. It's really proper form that we want to focus on. So, strength and flexibility will come over time with practice, and that is something that will develop. But it's really proper form that we want to think about practicing over and over again, because it's really hard to break a bad habit once it's implemented over and over again over time. So keep the leg low, nice and turned out, take a little lift, and lower. Start there and keep building. Shh, I'm going to tell you one little secret, okay? So when I do my Grand Battement, I think about exhaling with the contraction of the iliopsoas muscle. So I have a feeling of and really doing this helps me to think about zipping up the iliopsoas like a zipper and sending the excess energy out. Just a little tip.